What's going on, everybody? It's just another day in the kitchen, back with another episode. And given today's Halloween, I figured what better day to revisit Travis Scott's very random and interesting Halloween merch drop all the way back from 2017. Now, of course, no kitchen video would be complete without some interesting pictures or facts. So, of course, here's my boy LaFlame dressed up and performing all the way back in 2015. It's been apparent throughout the years that he does like to dress up, so I also wanted to feature this photo of himself and Stormy from just a couple of years ago. Shout out to my boy Mike Myers. And if you guys are dressing up this year, let me know in the comments. I'm going to be at home cooking up this video. Now, Travis is, of course, on the Utopia tour, which includes stops in Oakland starting tonight, and this is the costume policy. The arena is obviously expecting people to dress up, so if you do go to the show, I hope that you enjoy yourself, but also stay vigilant and stay woke out there. Now, in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the merch drop that included this now viral mask, which was in this now viral photo from just a couple of years ago. And just to give you guys an idea how long the merch situation has been horrible with Travis Scott, I included this comment from 6 years ago. People mentioned that the shipping was supposed to take 3 to 4 weeks, but you'd be lucky to get it by Thanksgiving. Now, as for the actual merch drop, I wanted to start off by saying that this was, of course, a very random merch drop featuring Cactus Jack and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre brand. Now, LaFlame ended up teaming up with this guy right here, Cory Damon Black, for this Texas Chainsaw Massacre collaboration, and little did they know just a couple of years, this guy would end up being Travis Scott's creative director. As most recently, I saw that he had his hands on the Cactus Jack collaboration from 2020. And if you're like me and think we could use another Jack Boys collaboration album, let me know in the comments. Now, to start off this collaboration, I also wanted to mention I did feature this in a video from a couple of months ago when I was featuring some lost or forgotten Travis Scott merch, so you might recognize it, and if you did, shout out to you for being a longtime viewer. And also, while you're here, you might as well drop a like and subscribe, you dig? Now, when it comes for the actual art direction for this collaboration, it does feel a little bit low effort when you see that a lot of these images are just still images from this iconic movie series. The one thing I do want to point out in an interview that Cory, the guy that Travis worked with to design this, mentioned that he was grabbing a lot of still images from the actual movie set itself, and then Travis had his hand in designing some of the other pieces. So they did heavily use a lot of the actual images from the films, however, I do feel that there could have been a little bit more effort to them. One thing you'll notice is that the price is about $40 to $50 for most of these pieces, and one thing you have to remember is that this was 2017, so that was quite some time ago. Now, this silicone mask right here for $40 is probably the most iconic piece from this drop, and the shipping time does reflect that it was 3 to 4 weeks. However, as you guys saw in that previous comment, a lot of people can vouch for the fact that it did take much longer. Now, although we haven't seen any other masks like this since this drop, I would say you can still get your hands on this today if you'd like. However, it will run you about $100 over that initial retail price. And in my personal opinion, although today is Halloween, I think that this is one of the coolest, if not the coolest, Travis Scott novelty items that we've seen throughout his merch drops, apart from, of course, the rodeo action figure, which dropped quite a few years ago. Now, like I said, this drop was 6 years ago, or in 2017, so I think the cool thing to really look at and think about all that time ago is the fact that Travis still had the connections to make these kind of drops happen. This guy was the king of merch since he came on the scene, and one thing about these tees that I wanted to point out is that they do feature a reversible side. On the front of it, it does say Travis Scott Halloween, and one thing I wanted to point out is that this was also in collaboration to support an October 28th New York performance that Travis Scott had. And one of the main themes that you'll see repeated on a lot of these merch pieces throughout this drop is, of course, that October 28th date, which makes sense given that he had the show then. Now, given the majority of us around the world were not able to be at that show, this merch drop was available for only 24 hours on his website 6 years ago. Now, given we saw the price increase to $70 for the hoodie, I was curious how much that would have been 6 years ago. Now, as you can see, according to the inflation calculator, if you wanted to get your hands on this Travis Scott collaboration hoodie, you were looking at a cool $88. And in hindsight, that was honestly a pretty good deal. Although Travis wasn't the biggest artist at the time, compared to how expensive some hoodies are for most artists nowadays, going up to even $200, I would say $88 is not so bad. Now, to wrap up this actual merch drop, there was also this Texas Chainsaw Massacre hat, which at first glance doesn't seem to feature anything really related to the collaboration, but I did want to point out that on the side, it did have Travis Scott's name, of course, stitched upside down on the mesh part, which does kind of give a little bit of a hint of collaboration. Now, apart from the actual Leatherface mask, I did want to talk about my favorite piece from this collection. Unfortunately, I didn't see it on the website. However, when looking at some Hypebeast and Complex articles from 2017, it did apparently drop, and I do think it is pretty raw. It's a chainsaw, which of course makes sense given Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it features Travis's name there on the back. Now, if you made it this far, I hope that you have a great Halloween, and I appreciate you tuning in tonight. Let me know what you guys think about this video, and as always, thank you so much for cooking with the kitchen. Stay safe out there, guys. It's lit. Straight up, and peace.